is there more soldiers on the other side of that EMA? Did they go pick up new soldiers? Because, you know, now that it's weak, to kind of give y'all a little background, right? I love trading. I've done trading for a long period of time, and oh, come on, 4:30. Come on. Let's go. Hey, good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode of After the Trades. I know it's been a little bit since I posted one, but you know, the market's dynamics, especially after quad witching. Hold on, let me send this out as well. After quad witching has been quite entertaining, to say the least. And the last thing I wanted to do is kind of set y'all up for potential losses based on the parameters that's there. I want to say thank you to everybody. I got a Nora Katz, thank you for going and hitting that like and subscribe. I appreciate you. That way it can kind of keep this channel going. That said, everything here is powered by Trade Hero. If you haven't used Trade Hero, by all means, I think it's a really good system. So go ahead and check them out. That said, let's go ahead and get right to it. There's a couple things that came throughout the time, and I just want to kind of break them down for y'all so that way y'all can go ahead and be relatively prepared. So like, for example, this is UNH. UNH has signaled for some short movement, but you can kind of see it is building a base here right at TP1. So if you wasn't already in at this point, guess what? Probably not the best time for you to try to take a short. If you got in towards the end of the day, you should be happy because it kind of gapped going back to the TP1. But for the most part, that base is going to be very interesting at the open. Be prepared. And the crazy part about it, on the 30-minute, using Nemesis, let's go ahead and that, right? Something triggered, right? We were relatively bullish coming in, and it set its entry to the basically to the upside at 328. So where does that actually sit? So that actually sits a little bit over here, something along the lines of that. Let me put my trading plan on, right? And this is what it was looking for. They were looking for upside here, or at the very least an upside somewhere around here. And we did not relatively get that, right? We just been getting this nice little drift down on the 30-minute, which is kind of staying in line with that 15-minute chart. So I think the way everything is going, I won't be surprised that they revisit some of this. If you don't remember, UNH is one of them that has been beat up based on the fact of the economy and a lot, sorry, not the economy, the fact of the economy, and then they had the investigation, and then that CEO got shot. So there's a reason why it's this low, but there's also a reason why Warren Buffett put some money into them. So just keep this in mind, that whatever pullbacks that comes to the downside, it could be opportunities for you to go ahead and get into relatively good company. Look at some higher time frame charts, and you probably agree with me. Let's go ahead and do a couple more. This is a firm. A firm on the 15-minute was giving us a nice little setup on the Pac-Man. Got him. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Turn that on. All right, cool. So if we look at this right here, you can kind of see nice solid base. Hit that rejection. Where? At TP1. And guess what it did? It came right back down. Again, this was very volatile times, especially going into quad witching. And you could see a lot of this is still being a little bit lingered, because look at this. This is Thursday, and they swept just to kind of have this push here. So that's why a lot of signals did not go out. But I would say just be patient. I am working on bringing in some other signals, like something that's going to be along the lines of ripe for entry versus just systematic. This is going to be tickers that are, you know, relatively good businesses. The option contracts might be a little bit on the lighter side, but at the end of the day, I do want to cater to some of the people that actually does shares as well. So for example, CELC, this is Celsius. I don't know how to pronounce it. Let me not butcher it, right? They had a bit of a sell-off here, so it needs to hold this entry at this lower register, and then that take profit will bring us down to $88. Now the option contract chain is not the greatest, so if you actually have a margin account and you're allowed to short shares, this is where this kind of comes into play. Again, if you don't know what that means, it's perfectly fine. Just relatively ignore it for the most part. But this is going to go ahead and allow for you to get into some very, very interesting trades with that. Like I even got Five Below, Abbott Labs to kind of get this ball relatively rolling. Let's go ahead and look at some other ones. We talked about SoFi. Let me see. I think SoFi was one that was released. Let me just take a peek here, because I think I did send a signal out on SoFi. Let's see, did we already resolve that? Oh, no, that. Okay, so for SoFi, if you did carry over the weekend, which was risky, technically you should have been out by Friday, because it did hit TP1 during Friday, so that should have been your target. But if we look at it right here, you can kind of see it gave us a gap. Where did it stop? TP2. What happened after? Take your profit, right? So that's why we got a nice little drawdown here. So let me go ahead and update this. This is 12. Today is what? 12/23. 12/23. All right, 23. TP2 is hit. On to the next trade. All right, so that's that one. And then Meta. Meta was another one. I want to say this one was on the 30-minute. Let me see what made me look at Meta. Was it here or was it over there? All right, probably not here. Let me see. Maybe it was here. Oh, hold on. Technology is acting a little funky. All right, there we go. Let's see. No, not there. All right, let's see if I've got the right setup. Trying to double check, making sure I got the right one. No, I was actually Meta puts, so it might have been actually. I think I was right the first time. It was in ticker. Let's get rid of you. Bye bye. All right, so we got Meta. Oh yeah, that's that one. Oh, ooh, Lord, that did not really relatively work out well. Let's see what happened over there. This would have been on a 15-minute. Oh, gold has triggered. Okay, I'm gonna have to go check out gold for a little bit, so you're gonna have to bear with me on that one. That's that. That's that. All right, so Meta on the 15-minute. Let's get rid of these drawings. That would have been Pac-Man, and that was on the 17th, right? Okay, so Meta right here, and this is why it's very, very important that you understand what entries are, right? So Meta on the 17th, which is what we were aiming for, we was aiming for 661. Let me get that drawing. Let me see what this drawing looks like. Oh, actually, I take that back. I was right. So 2 hour. It was based on a 2 hour. It was actually Meta calls. Oh, okay. So that did work out well. Sorry, I'm reading things backwards. On the 17th, that was actually not the 17th. That was the 18th. All right. Let's see how these Meta calls looked. Nope. Still didn't have an entry. And okay, that's what ended up happening. So 661 was our stop loss. So pay attention here. So our entries are important. We need and it was what was broken down in the description. We needed to close above 667 with some strength. We did not. We never got that. We got pullbacks that was beating us up. What ended up happening? We got ourselves a stop loss hit. So if you did get in by, just momentum, or you day traded until it got up to 670, assuming it's going to get there, you should be out of this trade by now, because this thing can fall like a lead weight, especially that we came off a quad witching. Now, this did trigger saying that it is over, party's done. Yeah, that's going to happen, right? And when that happens, you just go ahead and call it a day. Right now, I would leave that completely alone, and we just focus completely on the next trade. So if you're in this trade, I suggest that you get out. Let me go ahead and update that as well. 12:23, no entry, no trade. On to the next. Let's go. All right, so let's go check out gold. Let's see what's happening with gold. Gold, that was triggered on my, which one was that one? That was pullback session. Okay, so pullback session on gold. Oh, they shot above 4,500, so they're taking their profit. So if you haven't been in one of my classes, I explained that we had a nice little push-up, and the target was going to be somewhere around 4,500. It looked like the momentum has carried us to about 4,531, and now the profit taking is happening, and it's so vicious, it's pushing it under the 4,500. So we got to see what ends up happening here. But that's not what you're here for. You are here for free game. Let's see. It says pullback session. Go to the 1 hour and look for entry near 44.95. All right, so let's check out the 1 hour and what the game plan behind that is. Okay. Oh no, that's stochastic is overheated. So what could be the case here, and if you got to come to some of my classes, this could be a M pattern that just panned out. I would say it might stop off here, so it might be already over. But if it breaks into 495 again, your target could be about 472. But be careful for trying to take anything else. It's right on top of an order block on the 1 hour, and that can go ahead and kind of jab you in the face and take all your profits and run. All right, so don't get mugged by the market. Okay, look at that. They're already getting back about 4,500. Looks like they came back for this 1 hour fair value gap because of one of these here. Oh yeah, that's probably what it is. Look at that. Nice little spring off of there. I talk about order blocks also. That you gotta come to my class. All right, it's almost time for the market to open. Let me do a couple more. Let's see if there's anything lingering over at Swing Trades itself. Dollar Tree. Let's talk about that real quick. This is on a 2 hour chart, DLTR. Let's take a peek. All right, so Dollar Tree looks like this. Oh yeah, look at that, nice solid entry. Under 124, target is 120. I would say if you can wait for a pullback and be part of this move to the downside, this MACD opening up will be great. Let's see what the daily looks like. Oh yeah, the daily is already pointing down. They might be preparing, and I've been talking about recession quite a bit, and it needs a pullback on company. It needs a pullback on companies just like this, because these are the ones that kind of flourish during recessions. So all those that kind of prepared for recession and got in, they're probably taking their profits, and there is no real signs for said recessions. We're still making new highs, and we're attempting to make new highs. So they might be just cashing in for Christmas, and they might go ahead and revisit this during January. So always keep this in your radar. Shout out to Bucky. He's the one that put me up on tickers like Dollar Tree. All right, so PNC. All right, so this isn't a bank. Now, PNC is different than JPM. All right, so this is why I kind of like this one here. I'm going to squeeze the chart a little bit so you can kind of see this is what's been going on over here. But PNC, on the other hand, for the 2 hour, has signaled for some upside move, and it's kind of late to the party for the most part. So this does look like a bull flag breakout here, and it's considered a regional bank. So I think it got some national aspirations. So we're very close to the entry. I would say, if anything, I'm maybe putting this signal out again, buy more time. All right, I'm gonna suggest a time, but to be on the safe side, especially going into New Year's, and kind of give yourself some cushion in case this does pan out wrong, we're gonna aim for 220 calls, and our entry is already established, so you pretty much can relatively get in as soon as 9:30 hits for the most part. If you want to wait for a sharper entry, by all means, come to a lower time frame, find yourself a nice low base, and you should be able to go. But this is what I want to see: is a good strong close above the level. They try to short it, they can't. They try to short it, they can't. They try to short it again, finish red, and they still can't. And so far, there is no pre-market trades that is saying that they're trying to get it under that 212 level. So anything above 212.50 is what I want to have as an entry with a stop loss, what would be the center of this whole entire flag or this order block, and that could go ahead and give you a nice opportunity for you to make a little chunk of change on PNC. All right, let me give y'all one more. It's almost 9:15. I like to get myself set up. Let's see, Toast. Toast is not one that I really like to trade because great company. They're taking market share from like companies like Square and PayPal, because this is where you find inside of the restaurants. Silver has been on the uptrend. Oh my God, yes it has. Now I appreciate you bringing up silver. I tell a lot of people, listen, chart silver. Silver will drag gold wherever. When I saw silver doing this, I said, we're going to 4,500. And I told a lot of people that trades gold, I don't trade gold except on options, which I might be getting into futures. I've been fighting with myself trying to do that, but I love playing NQ too much. So bear with me on that. But yeah, always chart silver. I'm telling you this. If you ever want to know where gold's going to go, this is the sun dragging the earth in its orbit, and this one drags everything. This is silver, this is platinum right there, this is copper, if I can remember it. Was it CP? It's one of them. Where is it? Copper. Oh, you know what, let me do it like this. Futures, not cocoa. Oh, HG, that's what it is. This is copper, and you see, I got one of my older fibs on this. I'm telling you, if there's any time you want to understand what's going on with the commodities, and that does not include oil. Oil is in its own whole entire realm, but you can kind of see they built that base here. They're trying to pull it. I don't think this is going to last relatively long, but all commodities, literally, I don't know why they do it. I don't know why they follow. Silver is on the rise. They're on the rise. And if we look at this monthly, look at this thing. Yes, absolutely. Oh, but let me get back over to Toast. Since 9:50, because I'm over here just having a little bit too much fun. All right, so if we go over here and we look at this on the 2-hour on Toast, we are looking for a strong entry above this level here. That level is going to be 37.31. What contract we're going to aim for? A $40 contract should be good. Be careful, because you can kind of see we did cross over the stochastic to the downside, but if we can get a nice close above, this MACD takes over. It carries over to like the daily. Oh, look at that. That daily looks like it wants to break out. Actually, we might even be able to finesse something even longer. Let me see something real quick. Let's make this very interesting. Not really, but maybe. How about the 4-hour? All right, for aesthetic reasons, I would say those are our levels for a quick day trade to swing trade, and for our long-term trade, I will say, actually, let's do that one. If you could find a 42, maybe a 45 contract going into the first quarter, which is like March, and the economy doesn't go into a recession, this thing could be a long-term play where you just let it cook and you just sit on it. It gets to 43, you start planning to get to sell it. But for the most part, they're planning on liquidating anyone that was being bearish back here in November. And they got a nice little solid base. If you've been in my class, there's no such thing as a higher low. Sorry, a higher high without a high. Sorry. There's no such thing as a higher high without a higher low, right? And you could kind of see this right here. They made a higher low right here. It broke this area, made a higher high, and now they're going after this gap, And if it gets through that gap, those that are day trade to swing trade will give momentum to get to 40. And you can stand on the shoulders of giants if there's any institutions that stepped in, and they'll take this imbalance and go right into the gap somewhere around 42 to 43, rebalancing that area. And of course, 45 is psychological. We've rejected there numerous times. What was previous resistance turns into support. Support did not hold, and they went ahead, kissed goodbye down here, but they're building a base. Why? Because what was previous resistance is, take that back. What was previous resistance has turned into support, and we are right here, and that's what they're using right now without breaking all the way down to this level. Now, I know I just gave you a lot on that one. You're gonna have to probably rewind that video a couple of times, but that's what toast looks like from a longer period of time, assuming that this does its job on the 2 hour. All right, that said, I gotta run. Go ahead, hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. Go ahead and share it to your friends. Let your friends know that I actually give you some really, really good content. Don't forget, this is powered by Trade Hero, and I will bid you a fond farewell. See you later on this afternoon when I start to recap some of the alerts that come through. You have a great day. Bye-bye.